guys? Today we're going to be doing something really different. I didn't actually think I was going to do this. I kind of just thought of it out of nowhere, and we're actually going to be taking the front clip off of this truck. For those of you who have a bump side or a dent side, I'm going to show you guys how to take the front clip off very easily. I've done it before. There's like 8 to 10 bolts and the whole front clip comes off in one piece. Hood and all. We're going to take the hood off. So we'll pretty much start with, I'll take the hood off. I'm going to get another person over here hopefully so I don't have to do it myself. Fender wells, undo the fender bolts from there's 2 up on the cab side. The radiator connected to the core support, there's some. My frame rails are actually bent, so this front bumper is going to be the biggest pain in the butt to deal with. I'll even show you. So you can see the gap here is about a 1 inch on each side, and it's fairly even. And then you go over here and you can totally tell it's about 3/4 to an inch to an inch and a quarter on this side. It's offset. You can totally see the frame rail is crooked. And actually, if anyone's actually seen my truck way back when I actually first got it and there was a smashed up grill, I'll actually show you the grill in a second here. The whole, you can see the dent here in the hood, and then all the way down here, this whole grill was smashed, and then the front fender was smashed. It was hit right about here. And then I think they replaced the bumper, and then the frame rail got twisted inward because of the force of the bumper kind of pulled it in. So they must have smashed the pole pretty freaking hard to do that, because this is a very thick steel bumper. So I'm going to be trying to deal with that front frame rail and try to straighten that out, because the last time I took this bumper off, it would not go on. I actually had to use a jack, put it on a piece of wood or a box or something horizontally with a block of wood, and space the frame rails out to where I could wedge the bolt in for the front bumper. It's terrible. So we're going to try to fix all that stuff today, and the biggest thing is we're actually going to plan on painting the inner fender wells. So here, I'll show you here. I can never open this hood one-handed. So as you can see, I got this pretty nice motor. I mean, it's all right. I mean, I'd like to button up a couple things on it. It's got a little small oil leak. There's some things here and there I don't like, but the main thing is these inner fender wells. I don't like this at all. This is what bugs me. So I'm pretty much going to be taking the whole front clip off. I can pretty much take these mounts out of the radiator and then put a block of wood under it, and it'll hold it, so I don't have to take the tubes out. You don't have to drain any fluids or anything. Literally everything is coming out around it. My biggest issue is going to be hanging wires, so I'm going to have to be taking all this stuff off and just let it kind of hang there, you know. And then it looks pretty, it kind of looks like a mess, but it really won't be. It's not that difficult. So the hardest part is actually physically lifting it off. So I'm going to start undoing some of the bolts from the inside. The first thing I should really do is take the hood off, but I'll get there. I'm not really worried about it yet. My hood's off-centered anyways, but you can actually see, for those of you who don't know, you're supposed to drill a hole through the mount and the hood to make sure your hood's aligned properly. I'll probably do it again, but this hood is off-centered. I mean, it's there, but it's not in the correct spot anyway, so I mean, I'm gonna have to realign it. But anyways, so let's go ahead and get started. So I've gone ahead, I pulled the battery out, I've bagged all the screws that I've taken off, and so basically I took out the voltage regulator box right here, the wires to the horn, I took all that out. I kind of threw everything over here. That was the starting solenoid, goes right here, and then I think there was another regulator going on right here. But I took those wires off, unplugged the main headlight wire. Every single nut and bolt that came off is bagged and labeled. Like, I have a Ziploc bag with 1 screw in it, just to be extra sure you want to do that. And then I just kind of have everything just kind of thrown off to the side over the engine here. And then I went ahead and took the heater hose clamp off of the firewall. So I pretty much have everything free wire-wise, because I even took this had a little hole it went in, that's popped out. So now when this slides off, these will literally just be hanging here. And the headlight will come out freely. There should not be any more fender wires on this side. I've gone ahead and unplugged the main headlight wire on this side, and the washer fluid reservoir deal. And then you got a little clip right here that's destroyed and just kind of falls out. And then another one up here, just kind of wiggle out. They're kind of fragile. You can go underneath and actually push the little tabs in, but as you can see, that's kind of what they look like. You're supposed to push the tabs in and push them up, but these are all destroyed anyway, so it's like, who really cares? And then that wire doesn't even, yeah, there's a little plastic clip. Just go ahead and pop that out. There we go. And then there's another one. This one, I think, yeah, this is for the transmission. This is my speedo cable right here. So I can go ahead and take that out like that. Then out the bottom like that. Okay, now it's free like that. And then everything's pretty much free on this side. I just gotta undo my fuel pressure regulator gauge, the line, and the regulator itself. And then we should be good to go. And then I'll start taking, Sean's gonna be here, and once he gets here, we'll take the hood off. I think the way I'm gonna do it is I'm gonna take the fenders off because they need to come off anyways. It'll be easier for me because I'm painting the engine bay itself. I'm painting this core support, the inner fender wells, battery tray, and whatnot. And I think I'm gonna take the fenders off because it'll be easier to take them off while they're already on the truck than having this flimsy piece of metal kind of just like hanging out on the ground trying to get these like really hard screws and bolts off. I think it'd be easier if I just did it on the truck. So I'm gonna show you how to take the fenders off on the truck if you don't really know. I'll show you how to take those off, and then we'll go from there. So while I'm waiting for Sean with the hood, I'll go ahead and I'll start with this fender. And there's the main bolts on the top that you see here. These two I would go ahead and take off anyways because they relieve stress from this. And I think there's 2 or 3 back in here that you can see all up here. Yeah, there's 3 on the outer edge here that you got to take out. And I'll go ahead and I'll take them all out, and we should be good to go. And then there's 2. There's one inside the door here. You can reach your hand inside of right here, and you'll feel it. It's right where my finger is over, and then there's one in there, and then there's one on the bottom, but my bracket's bent and broken, so I don't really think I have one there. But yeah, that's pretty much all there is to the fender, and then it should kind of just like wiggle its way off. So I'll go ahead and I'll start taking this stuff out. So there's supposed to be a cab mount right there, and as you can totally tell, it's completely split. Yeah. Completely broken. And then this is the fix. You're supposed to put a self-tapper through the bottom of the fender, and that's what's supposed to hold it. I think I did it on the other side and it actually worked, but I gotta fix and weld this eventually. I'm not sure when I'll do it. But yeah, I guess for some stupid reason I still put the bolt in, so I'm gonna take that out. So once you go with all the ones on the side, there's one up front. You gotta undo this little screw and tap it over to the side. You can barely see it, but there's one up in there. And then the fender will pretty much tap right out, and you kind of wedge it out. So I'm just going and taking the headlight buckets out, and we'll go ahead and get those out. And then the rest of the video, I kind of just time lapse to get this thing off, so I can spend more time on the video prepping and painting everything and showing you guys how that works. So. I've never taken this hood off before. Looks funky. So now it's just these 3 guys up here. Then the core support, yeah, down on the chassis here, I think. I'm gonna undo the radiator and leave the radiator where it is, and then just put a piece of wood under it. And then we should be okay.
Having fun? Now it's a race car.
It looks like it's out of Mad Max now.
Now it's a race car.
Yeah.
Look at them long tubes.
Yeah, it looks sick. You know, I just realized these would have been so much easier to put in now.
Oh yeah.
Damn. Front clips off. So fast forward a little bit. I've done a little bit of body work so far to it. This is the side Sean started working on. Basically just surfacing everything, giving us a smooth surface to work with. I'm picking off a lot of this like sound deadening kind of stuff. I might spray more of it later. Probably won't though. I'll put all the sound deadening on the inside. Gonna try and surface as much behind the motor as I can. And so on the other side, I went ahead and I'm starting to strip this. I'm gonna get ready to sand it. I've been using like surfacing discs and stuff like that on the air tool, just to get most of this stuff off. A lot of the sound deadening stuff's off. A lot of this like silicone looking junk, I don't know, a lot of it's coming off. And then I'm just gonna kind of, for now, the biggest plan for this right now is just make it look better, because this whole front clip's gonna come off again when the Crown Vic front end goes in this. I think I might have someone, but either way, we're just gonna be rattle canning. I'm gonna show you guys how to like not make it look like junk, I guess, and still not have to pull the motor out to be able to get the whole firewall done. And then we're gonna be surfacing the fender wells, which are my whole front clip's just kind of like chilling. We're gonna take the grill off and have the core support and the fender wells in 3 different pieces. And then we're gonna sand and prep and paint these. These are gonna be rattle can black. We're gonna use an auto paint, so hopefully it will look pretty good. With the base primer and everything, and then we should be able to go from there. So now I'm gonna go ahead and start disassembling the front clip into 3 different pieces. Well, 4 actually. Battery tray will come off the turn of the fender well. I'll do the 2 fender wells and then the core support completely separate, so we can go ahead and just sand them and paint them. Be done with it and then reassemble it. And so I'll go ahead and I'll start taking the panels out. So firewall's all done now. You kind of have to use some trickery to get into certain spots, but it looks like I did some pretty good coverage. I'm not too worried about it, because whatever I truly missed, I can pick up with the actual paint. Looks like I got in the deep corner pretty well. You kind of have to like hold it and jiggle it around just to get it to cover. But it laid really smooth actually. It looks pretty good. I'm sure a lot of people are judging how I was painting it, but there kind of is no correct way to paint it when you have the motor in the way. You just kind of got to get it. So it looks really good though. It laid out smooth. It's looking pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and let this sit, and then I'll come back with the actual color, and then we'll lay down the color and we'll see what it actually looks like. So for the actual paint I'm using, this is a VHT roll bar and like chassis paint. It's a 250-degree limit on it, which is plenty sufficient for what I'm doing. It's the only one I saw that had a gloss finish. It's not a matte finish, so I'm hoping it doesn't come out matte. We'll find out, but so I'll go ahead and I'll lay the firewall real quick and let's see what this stuff turns out like. So the firewall turned out absolutely incredible. You can't really see it. You can see it a little bit I'm eventually going to take this off and I'll show you guys everything, but for now I'll leave that. Coming back to this, I actually went in my backyard and got a different core support that was already painted black, so I can go ahead and skip that and not have to deal with sanding all the rust off. And so now I'm going to go ahead and we're going to clean it and spray it. Good job, Corey. Corey got this sanded for me, I appreciate it. So now I got both sides cleaned and we can go ahead and just degrease it real quick and shoot it. So I don't even need to waste primer on it, I can just go ahead and throw a coat on it real quick. Because you can see how pitted the old metal was. So this one will get sandblasted later, but just because I'm in such a time crunch, I kind of need to throw one on. So I'm gonna use this guy right here. So yeah, we'll go ahead and shoot a coat of black on this thing. So the core support turned out pretty good. You can see stuff like that, but I'm not really worried about it because I'm not even going to use this core support later. So kind of glad I didn't sell it, to be honest. So painted one of the fender wells. That turned out pretty good. So now I'm going to go ahead and get the other one ready, paint that one, and then I got to get ready to assemble everything once I get that other one painted. And then I also got to paint the back side of this. So you can see what it looked like before, kind of. It was like all beat up and scratched and whatnot, but I think it turned out pretty awesome. So I got all three pieces now. I got the core support and the two fenders, and so I'm going to go ahead and install the core support onto the frame and then bolt the two fenders onto it with the headlights and the grille. And I'm pretty much going to be assembling each piece onto the truck instead of assembling the whole clip and sliding it on. I think I'll end up not scratching as much that way. So I'm going to go ahead and try that out, see how that works. Alright, so here's the final product. Boom. Everything's a little bit dirty because I've been driving it, but in general, looks way better. So I rerouted the fuel line and the fuel pressure regulator. It was way down here, you couldn't really see much, but I put it right in this little groove here. It looks a lot cleaner, I think. And then later I'll fix this, whatever I got going on down here. Maybe put steel braided hose in, I'm not sure, I'll get to it. The firewall looks incredible. even way in the back, you can still see I managed to pretty much get everything. So that's awesome. And then firewall looks pretty good. Sean, I think, cleaned this one. I prepped this one, but you can see the metal itself isn't that great. I didn't use any body filler or anything to make it smooth. It's just like, this is one of those things that I just wanted to look temporarily better. I mean, you can see all the grease marks around the master cylinder and on the bottom there that I just physically cannot get unless these parts are out. This was all full of sound deadening stuff, and now it's nice and smooth, so that's good. I did scratch it getting it in, but I can just touch this up, not a big deal. That's the biggest thing I wanted to tell everybody, is the way I put this on was incorrect, and the reason being is because the core support really puts the pressure on the fender wells, so you actually should put the fender wells in before you put the core support on, or do it with multiple people at once. The reason being is because this core support will push this fender back. You can see it's pretty tight right here. It'll push it back, and then you won't be able to get this fender over the lip, which is exactly what happened to me. So just a little note there. But overall, for a $40 paint job and a little bit of labor, not bad. Only took me about 3 days. It usually doesn't take me too long to do projects, a couple days usually, but this one took me about 3 days or so, and it turned out awesome. Big thank you to everybody who helped me, Sean and Chris and Corey for helping prep and move parts off, taking the hood on and off and whatnot. Big thank you to Remy for helping me with the firewall. It looks amazing. Couldn't thank you guys enough or do it without you. Definitely have friends if you're doing this project. This is not a solo deal. You're not taking one of these hoods off by yourself. But yeah, you guys wanted to see a bunch of F100 stuff, so the F100's back. It's hopefully going to be more videos with this pretty soon. I just thought, I've been doing episodes with this truck consistently, and I thought I needed to bring in this truck back into the mix. So this is what I thought to do. It was just like, well, let's take the front end of this thing apart randomly out of nowhere. Sounds like a great idea, right? Rip my daily driver apart. So that's what I did. So if you liked it, please leave a like button. Thank you so much if you watched all the way through this video. I know you guys wanted longer videos, but I don't know how many people actually watched through the whole thing. But based on the comments, it seems like a lot of people do. So thank you if you do watch through the whole video. Leave a like if you did enjoy it. Let me know any recommendations for future videos down below. I'll see you guys in the next one.